why we actually use TypeScript in the modern web applications, or maybe the question could be even why shouldn't we use TypeScript, because it became like an industry standard as for now. Imagine going to the new project, and I had many situations where just lack of some variables in the env file just caused some errors that was like pretty hard to track, to be honest. Basically the hot topic of the web development world regarding the React developers. So we are talking strictly about the new React Suspense. Welcome to the new episode of the NextGen Web Podcast. Today we have three exciting topics, which are TypeScript, React 19, and the Turbopack 2.0 update. So before we start, could you do us a quick favor and subscribe to our channel if you find this content useful? It is much more important than you may think. With the bigger channel, we'll be able to invite the top voices from the web development community and provide you with the best content and the in-depth tech talks. Thank you and enjoy watching the episode. So, starting off with the first topic, which is TypeScript. So we have some exciting updates in TypeScript. We are going to talk about the new 5.5 update in TypeScript. We are also going to talk about the best libraries we use in everyday development. So maybe just in the introduction, we can say briefly what TypeScript really is and why we actually use TypeScript in the modern web applications. Or maybe the question could be even why shouldn't we use TypeScript, because it became like an industry standard as for now.
Yes, that's pretty interesting, because right now every new developer is learning TypeScript, we can say by default, but few years earlier it wasn't so obvious that TypeScript would be so beneficial to our developer experience. So first of all, as we know, all TypeScript is created by Microsoft to help with static typing of JavaScript code. It's a superset of JavaScript and can help us make our code easier to maintain and more reliable. I know that you are pretty familiar with history of TypeScript, so maybe you can brief us with that.
Sure, so maybe a quick fact about TypeScript. So basically, creator of C# was also the father of TypeScript. And basically the history of TypeScript began pretty much in 2010, where a team of Microsoft developers used Script Sharp to write web applications. So basically what Script Sharp was, it was kind of the converter of C# to JavaScript, so that the developers could take advantage of the typed language, which was the C# at the moment, and just avoid kind of the JavaScript chaos in producing the large-scale applications. And so the father of C#, Anders Hejlsberg, pretty much seen the issue with that and decided to create TypeScript, which became pretty much the industry standard as for now for creating the web applications. Yeah,
that's true. And right now we can, I think, safely say that this is the most popular and most safe way to create JavaScript code. And right now we kind of use TypeScript and JavaScript as a synonym, because right now almost every JavaScript developer is a TypeScript developer also.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, to be honest with you, I can't even imagine like creating a production grade application and just not use TypeScript. Just the amount of little bugs you can catch early, and just all the autocompletes, just the handiness for developers. It became like so essential. It basically became the gold standard in creating JavaScript applications. So maybe we can introduce briefly the best TypeScript libraries we are using right now. So some utilities we use in the projects, like what is the go-to toolkit for us for TypeScript developers?
Sure. So the first, I would say, library I use the most is Zod. for validating incoming data. Mostly in web applications we use it with forms when we want to validate if form inputs are valid and this data sent, for example, to database, or a different source of truth is the actual data scheme we want to see. But we also can use it outside of Next.js world. For example, right now I use it in a Nest backend application where I try to validate parsed XML into JSON scheme. So that is also something we can use. And the second, I would say the most popular library I use, for example, is T3env, which I use for environmental variables with TypeScript. And this is also very beneficial, especially for large enterprise-grade applications where we have a lot of environmental variables and we need to manage them and check if they meet specific requirements. For example, we can use some secret email address and we want to see if this if our environmental variable is actually in email format, or is a number, or is a string. So the options are very wide with these libraries, and the one of the most, I think, valuable when it comes to setting up our TypeScript environment is TS-Reset. If I'm not mistaken, created by Matt Pocock, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
sure. The godfather of TypeScript right now.
We will talk about him more a little bit later regarding also TypeScript.
Yeah.
But right now, I think this is the good moment to talk about the new version of TypeScript 5.5. And maybe Michał, you can tell us some more things about it.
Yeah, sure. So we have a new upgrade coming up in the 5.5, but I will also stop in the libraries we mentioned before. So basically, the one I find very useful as for now would be the T3env. So basically, I can't, just imagine going to the new project. And I had many situations where just, lack of some variables in the env file just caused some errors that was pretty hard to track, to be honest. And just, having the validation right at the start of the application, where you basically ensure that we have all the stuff we need right, just starting the project, became very handy. So yeah, I would say that's one of the most favorite libraries for me regarding the TypeScript. But coming back to the new 5.5 upgrade, so I would say the biggest thing actually in the new version of TypeScript would be the inferred type predicates, as for the documentation says. So basically, the TypeScript becomes kind of smarter in just aligning the types, especially in functions like filter. Mm-hmm. Just by having the new update, we don't have to do some additional checks. TypeScript just knows what the type is going to be based on the the function we provide there.
That's true.
So I would say this is the biggest update in the new version. You have some insights, what was your biggest take on the new version of TypeScript?
I don't know if you see a pattern here with these predicates, but the web development world is coming into direction where every tool is getting somehow smarter, because with TypeScript we get these predicates which can see the changes in types. With React, we are coming to the React compiler, which tries to be smarter and memorize some of our code without our interference, and helping us ditch things like use memo, use callback, etc. And with the tools like AI SDK, with whole generative AI topic, all of this try to get as many work from the developer as it's possible, so we can focus on the other stuff. We don't have to worry about every little detail about performance and things like that.
Yeah, that's true. So basically, the kind of web development shifts towards like allowing us developers to ship more features instead of just the basic hustle of, for example, trying to manage the typing of a function, which is going to be like predicated by TypeScript right now. And all the tools you mentioned before, we are also going to cover the React compiler, I guess, in the next episode. So that's a good take here. So basically, the tools we are using right now, like kind of aim to reduce the work we have to do to ship the features. So that is great for me. And I guess most of the developers rather like to focus on more creative work, just providing new features, not doing like the very, just repetitive tasks. So yeah, that's great. And hopefully we keep on this traction, just to make our life easier as developers. So we have the 5.5 upgrade. Maybe you can also mention like the best sources to learn TypeScript. So we also talked about the Matt Peacock new book about TypeScript.
Yes.
So I think we can briefly talk about it, or maybe you have some insights to the 5.5 upgrade in TypeScript.
Sure. Maybe we can start with the resources.
Sure.
And then come back to this new update.
For sure.
Because let's be honest, when you start with JavaScript, TypeScript can get a little bit intimidating at first, because there are a lot of, we can say, new stuff for people that are used only to JavaScript, and the whole static typing thing, generics, interfaces. There are a lot of things that can go wrong at first. So the learning curve can be a little bit steep for developers that are not familiar with concepts like that. And at first we only had the documentation by Microsoft, which was okay, but as with most of this kind of documentations with Microsoft, with for example Mozilla documentation regarding web standards, these are just huge books of text and examples that sometimes can get a little bit tricky where we want to just learn some small new feature, and sometimes just gets intimidating for readers. And here comes again Matt Pocock, as we spoken before, with his TS reset, but also with his course, which is the Total TypeScript, which can get us from real beginners with zero experience about TypeScript. We can get to, as he says, TypeScript wizards in our companies.
Yeah.
And just recently this course was updated with new chapters, with new examples about newest version of TypeScript, and also with TypeScript book, which is completely free and available on the internet. So if you go to the totaltypescript.com, you can see it, you can see the course. It has some free samples, it has some paid chapters, but overall this is, I think, the best right now source of information when it comes to learning TypeScript. It can get you from setting up your IDE to really advanced patterns of TypeScript and leveraging the whole potential of this tool. And also he developed the TS reset library we talked about, which is kinda the go-to starting package when it comes to cooperating with TypeScript. It gives us a few tools that are really helpful, and I think this is the best way to start your journey.
Sure. I would just also take a moment to just acknowledge the amount of work Matt is doing for the TS developers. And also, like before the Total TypeScript course, I would say that the resources he made also on YouTube, just covering the basics of TypeScript, but also the more advanced topics. To be honest, these were like my go-to resources to like learn TypeScript, and just the way he was able to explain like maybe even more advanced concepts in TS, which can get a bit tricky if you like really dive deep into those concepts. It was great, just to get a hang of it. So he's, I would say, the go-to person to learn TS the right way. And also the book you've mentioned. So basically today I've kind of walked like through the chapters, and what is great about it is that we have like 16 chapters full of knowledge. Like you have pretty much all the stuff you need covered in TS there. And also you are not only getting like the plain text and just like the plain book format, but rather you have some code examples. You also have like some practice where you can just strictly do some coding yourself. And thanks to that, you can, just pretty much test your knowledge straight after reading the chapter, which is great, just to learn these essential skills basically right now in the web development world. So yeah, if you guys want to learn TS the right way, we would strongly suggest you to check it out. It's completely free. So yeah, go give it a try, because I would say it is pretty awesome, to be honest.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so we have pretty much the TS basics covered. I don't know, Philip, maybe you want to add something regarding the TS topic, or should we move forward with our next?
I think these predicates are, for me at least, the most exciting news about this. Of course, there are a lot more changes which can be more minor stuff than these predicates, but we strongly encourage you to go to the new dev blog from Microsoft about TypeScript and see the changelogs for yourself. It will be linked down in the description of this episode, so feel free to check it out and get to know this stuff, because it's really great and it will help you build more reliable and safer applications.
Sure. Yeah, we'll leave the essential links in the description. So I think we can move to the next topic, which is basically the hot topic of the web development world regarding the React developers. So we are talking strictly about the new React Suspense. I guess if some of you guys follow Twitter, X, whatever you name it, you probably heard about the React Suspense in the new version, which caused a lot of controversies. So maybe we can give some context. What was the whole, situation about with the new React version?
So first of all, recently, as we mentioned in the previous episode, we had the React 19 release candidate version, which will be also used for next 15 release candidate version. And there are a lot of changes that we have covered that are really great. We also covered React Suspense, but one day after the release of this version, there was some discussion about React Suspense and change of its behavior, because right now everything in React Suspense is being handled parallel. So if we have several child components that are wrapped in React Suspense, they are being handled in parallel. And with the new approach with React 19, we converted into waterfall, which has some advantages. Parallel operations can get really costly if we have some expensive components wrapped in Suspense, but there are several applications that are solely based on this approach, and converting it into waterfall will actually break these applications, we can say. So there was some heated discussion on X about this, and we had update from React core team that they are listening to these concerns from users and are willing to stop the release of this new React version until this specific topic will be handled, we can say, gracefully, and community will accept this.
Yeah, sure. So basically, pretty much some people thought that the new suspense behavior was kind of a bug, actually, because you can kind of imagine why the change was made, and as you said, it has some advantages in specific use cases. But it came out, it was intentional, of course. And I can see that in an app which uses React, for example, Facebook, when you can have very heavy components, which rendering could be very costly, then this change really makes sense. But if you come back to the more SPA traditional approach, where you actually trigger the fetching in the child components, and you're basically converting the parallel fetching, as you said, to the waterfall, the performance, difference can be pretty dramatic, to be honest.
That's true.
And that's really great that some guys on X pretty much caught the issue. And basically, as far as I know, React delayed the new version, and they're trying to fix this new suspense behavior, so that both the the more traditional SPA apps, which basically would have some performance issues after upgrading, so that they can safely upgrade to React 19 and not get a waterfall where the every single request is starting after the previous is done. So that's cool that React team really listens to the community, and that's very important, especially in features like Suspense, because the differences could be pretty dramatic, to be honest.
It's true, and it also shows the direction that React team wanted to take. And it shows that they wanted to give more thought into applications that are built, for example, like Next applications, Next.js, and they kind of forgot the primary principle the React was created for, which were single-page applications.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can see a little bit shift in the course of action for React, but it's really nice that the community is there to maybe give some feedback to the React core team and help them shape the future of React and front-end development, because React right now is the most popular front-end framework for JavaScript. And I think this will be for the better for all of the community. And one of the things that is also interesting about React is that React right now encourages its users to use frameworks when creating new React applications.
Yeah.
There is no more, let's say, recommendation from them to use pure React, we can say.
Yeah, the CRA, the Create React app, was officially deprecated, I guess, in the 18 version. I mean, it was a while ago, so yeah, that's basically true. But also, I don't know what you think about it, Philip, but I see some kind of shift in the way React team is going with this change. So basically, if you look at it from the perspective of where React and Next is going right now, basically the issue wouldn't be there with the suspense fetching if you use tools like prefetching. So fetching the data before the component is rendered, and also stuff like React server components, and just fetching in the server component. Basically, if you would have this type of architecture, the new suspense wouldn't hurt you in any way. So that is, maybe kind of a clue where the React team is going, and kind of proves that we are moving more towards the React server components. This change kind of shows you, the kind of the direction where it's going.
This makes sense overall, for me at least, because right now we are going more and more into, let's say, fetch-heavy applications. Right now, almost all of them are using some kind of communication with APIs, with databases. So it really makes sense that we are going into more full-stack approach for our frameworks. But it's also interesting that we don't have something like PHP frameworks, for example, so all-in-one package. Next.js has some of its advantages, but we cannot say that this is pure all-in-one package, as it don't have some of the built-in tools that, for example, Laravel has. But overall, we can see this shift that we are going from SPAs in React into more route-based applications that have the server actions, server components,
Yeah,
and
sure.
a lot of
So basically the whole
operations.
package kind of in one framework. Yeah, that's true. But also, I'm very curious how the new Suspense situation is going to finally end, and what the React team is going to come up with the solution for that. We can't also forget that most of the apps which were written in React were like the simple SPAs, which was the biggest trend in the web development before the like server components. So I would say the very big percentage of the React apps is the SPA apps. I guess most of them use Suspense, for example. So yeah, I'm very curious how it's going to turn out with the new Suspense finally. Yeah, so I guess we have the new React Suspense pretty much covered up. I guess we can move to our last topic, which would be the Turbopack 2.0. So maybe you can briefly just like, talk about what the Turbopack really is, what it proposes the developers, and just, briefly go through the new changes in the 2.0 version.
Sure thing. So first of all, Turbopack is a Webpack alternative created by Vercel team. Right now it's being in its 2.0 version, and we have some of cool new features, I would say. The first thing that catches eyes is new terminal UI. So right now all of these interactive tasks and logs are much clearer for user. And it looks really good. Vercel always cares about visual aspect of its features and new products. It always looks good. And the second, I would say, big thing is watch mode. So right now we can set a task watcher that will inform us about any changes. And also the thing that we cannot miss here, that is also really good about Vercel, is that they revitalized their documentation about Turbopack. So we have like more in-depth guides regarding the monorepo concepts and new API references and all of these ecosystem guides. So this is really good.
Yeah, sure. And also we can mention that the Turbopack is written in the hot language, which is Rust, which is supposed to bring you the best possible performance. And also it was created to tackle some of the next problem, which is basically if you have some like bigger app in Next, you can see sometimes that in the dev server, when we are building the pages on the go, while to be honest, like just simple navigation through the page, the performance can lower just a little bit. And if the Turbopack really like brings us the developers the faster performance, especially for example in the next dev mode, that would be great. I remember I was trying out the Turbopack pretty much when it was like a fresh thing, and the performance wasn't yet there. I mean, like it was, I believe, the beta version, so it has its flaws, for example. But also we're gonna see how the Turbopack is going to work in practice.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we can actually go through the end of the episode.
I think one more thing about the Turbopack, I would say it shows that Vercel tries to bring us the better performance on every step of building new application. So we have Turbopack, we have Next.js. So from scratch of our application to the end user, they are trying to improve the performance and the whole user experience and developer experience.
Yeah, sure, that's a great take. And also with the Turbopack, we are also getting the Turbo repo, which is kind of the complementary thing to the Turbopack, which kind of creates the new super performant infrastructure for running the Next apps, which is great. And we're going to see how it turns out in practice, in the projects.
Sure.
Yeah.